Uncharted, one of the most iconic PlayStation sagas alongside God of War and The Last of Us, was released over 15 years ago, and believe it or not, this was my first time playing it. As a child, I had an Xbox 360, so I never played it. That's why when I got the PS5, this was the series I absolutely had to try. So today, we're here not only to play the story mode, but also to platinum this amazing game, which is why today, we're getting the Platinum Trophy for Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. Before we begin, I would like to mention that this video will be divided into 5 phases, which I will refer to throughout the content. Also, the game has a total of 46 trophies, including Platinum. Phase 1. Story. Our story begins with Nathan Drake, a treasure hunter who claims to be a descendant of the explorer Sir Francis Drake. Upon unearthing his tomb, Nathan finds a journal that reveals the location of El Dorado, which kicks off a great adventure alongside his mentor and friend Victor Sullivan. However, Sullivan is apparently killed by a group of mercenaries led by Gabriel Roman and Atok Navarro. Despite this, Nathan continues his search accompanied by reporter Elena Fisher. Although he soon discovers that El Dorado is more than just a treasure. It is cursed and turns humans into horrible monsters. With the help of Sullivan, who actually faked his death, and Elena, Nathan confronts the mercenaries, managing to defeat them and finally leaving El Dorado sunk to the bottom of the ocean. And so this story ends. Throughout the game, I earned a total of 14 trophies. The ones I want to highlight the most are Headshot Expert, for killing 5 enemies in a row with headshots, or 250 headshots, for, forgive the redundancy, killing 250 enemies with headshots. It's worth mentioning that, in my opinion, these weren't difficult to achieve, since, without knowing about them, I don't know why I had an obsession with killing all enemies with headshots, so these weren't difficult. It's also worth mentioning that this trophy allows us to get 2 others for 120 headshots, respectively. Among the other trophies I got during the story, we can find the first and then the 10th treasure, as well as Brutal Brawler, for killing 5 enemies with a brutal combo, and also 5 trophies for killing with the 9mm PM, AK-47, 9mm 92FS, MP40, and M4 weapons. And also 2 others for completing the story on easy and normal difficulty. If you complete the story on a higher difficulty than another, you will still get the trophies for the lower difficulty, in my case completing it on normal. After the story, the trophies I wanted to get were for completing the story again, but this time on Crushing, starting with Phase 2. I wanted to complete the game on Crushing, which I thought would be easier, but it wasn't at all. I died many times, especially in the pit section, since in this one I only had a grenade launcher and a pistol against 12 enemies. So whenever I ran out of bullets and tried to go for the ones the enemies left behind, I died because of the shots from the other enemies, so I lost a lot of time in that part. The other part I want to highlight is the final fight, because I honestly thought that since I had already completed most of the game, it would be easier, but no, it was very difficult. I died a lot of times, but after finally overcoming this and defeating Navarro again, I finally got the trophy. Also, during this second playthrough, I took advantage of getting all the trophies for killing with certain weapons, thus obtaining the trophies for 30 Make NDI kills, 50 Moss, 12 kills, 30 M79 kills, 59mm micro kills, 20 Wes, 44 kills, 20 Desert, 5 kills, and 30 Dragon Sniper kills. Also worth mentioning is that during this run, I earned the trophies Sharpshooter for killing 20 enemies with hip shots without aiming, Iron Fist for killing 5 enemies with a single blow after weakening them with shots, Triple Dynamite for killing 3 enemies with a single grenade, and Brutal Champion for killing 20 enemies with a brutal combo. Among all these trophies, I would highlight the Brutal Champion trophy and just say that whenever you see enemies, take advantage of this mechanic to accumulate kills and eventually reach 20 kills with the Brutal combo. So, after finishing this long second playthrough, I already had a total of 27 trophies, so after that I went for the trophies for speedruns in some levels, starting with Phase 3 speedruns, where I want to mention that the game has 3 trophies of this type, which are These Walls Won't Stop Me, for finishing Chapter 5 in less than 10 minutes, In Dire Straits, for finishing Chapter 12 in less than 5 minutes, and A Quick Meeting, for finishing Chapter 16 in less than 7 minutes. None of these are really difficult, since it doesn't take more than 2 or 3 attempts. The ideal approach, and what I recommend, is to see the entire route on the first attempt and then follow it on the second and third attempts without getting stuck anywhere. Also, go fast but calmly, because if you try to go too fast, you may end up dying many more times than you would if you played calmly. So, after finishing the 3 speed runs, I got 4 more trophies, but you might ask, if there were 3 speed runs, how did you get 4 trophies? Well, the truth is that while I was completing the speed run of Chapter 5, I accidentally found the strange relic, thus getting the trophy for finding it. After the speedrun trophies, I went straight for the miscellaneous trophies I was missing, thus beginning Phase 4 of the Platinum miscellaneous trophies, among which I decided to start with the Brutal Expert trophy for killing 5 enemies in a row with the Brutal combo, for which I recommend the beginning of the game when we are on the boat. After that, I got the Film Some Scenes for Elena trophy, which is very easy since it only consists of entering photo mode. Then I got the Hanging trophy for killing 20 enemies with the weapon while hanging. Then another very similar to the previous one called Hanging Grenadier, which is the same as the previous one, only with grenades, and instead of 20, it's 10, where I recommend the part shown in the video for both trophies. I also went for the Master of Dynamite trophy for killing 3 enemies with 1 explosion 5 times, where I recommend using the location shown in the clip and, as seen in this one, waiting for the enemies to be as close together as possible and then, after killing the 3, restarting the checkpoint. With these done, I only had 9 trophies left, one of which was the Platinum, 6 collectibles, which I'll talk about a little later, and the others were the Ninja Master trophies for killing 50 enemies by attacking them in close combat from behind, and the other was Survivor, for killing 75 enemies in a row without dying. Regarding the first one, I should mention that when I wanted to get this trophy, I had 2 or 3 kills, since this was the first game in the series, and none of the mechanics were 100% polished, but one of the most affected by this was stealth, so it wasn't very useful, and that's why I never used it. Even so, it's not as difficult or complicated as it seems, because if you use the moment shown in the video clip, you first kill the one in front, then the one leaning against the wall, and then reload the checkpoint, thus getting the trophy in about 45 attempts or so. And now, regarding the second trophy, I already knew about this trophy throughout the story, so I tried to get it in both playthroughs, but I always ended up dying in some stupid way, so my only idea was to find a part where there were infinite enemies. And that's how I came up with the part where you have to repair the light where the enemies infected by the curse of El Dorado appear. Taking advantage of the infinite ammunition bonus, I killed enemies until I got the trophy. I should also mention that if you want, you can activate the one-shot kill modification, making it even easier. Finally, after these 2 long trophies, I only had the last phase left, the collectible trophies. I have to say that I thought it would be a much more tedious task than I expected, but following a guide and listening to music or a podcast while you do it makes it much easier and more enjoyable. So, after going through chapter by chapter, getting treasure by treasure, I finally got all the trophies for these. And after getting all 101 treasures, I finally got the Platinum for Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. I have to say that this was quite fun to get, and if you'd like me to get the Platinum for the second and third games, leave your like and subscribe.